Hey people, Intro here, 3v3 on Trivian Groves. For Team 1 in the west, we have Boogyman and some Necrons. Alongside is Fiery with some Chaos fellas. And then with the Sisters of Battle, Team 2 in the east, got some more Chaos fellas. This is GigaFraud, level 97 or something. Taylan 29 with some Tau. And Superstriker 121 rocking some Orks. Welcome then to the first ever Dawn of War cast on the channel. This is of course the definitive edition. Apologies in advance for me not knowing all of the stuff that's going to be going on. It's going to be a lot of me saying what is that and that looks cool and what does that do. I have made some tweaks. I got rid of the big playback message that's on the screen when you view a replay for some reason, as if you don't know what you're doing. I've also made some visual tweaks, played about with some reshading to try and bring some more detail out in the textures and stuff and change the lighting very slightly. So if you're wondering why it maybe looks a bit different than your version, that would be why. Let's get some basics out of the way then while the players cap things up and build their basic structures. If we switch to, for example, these Chaos fellas, we can see top left corner, you've got requisition and power used to build structures and units. And we have the squad cap and the vehicle cap. Now there are factions that operate differently. For example, well, the Sisters of Battle have this whole faith mechanic where they have units that generate faith, usually commanders and squad leaders and stuff. And then some of those units can use that faith for powerful abilities. What else we got? The Tau have these two different paths they can go down where they have to make a choice between these two buildings, which we'll see later, I'm sure. The Orks have this whole system with, instead of squad cap, they have Ork cap. And they also have this Ork resource. They increase the cap of those by building banners, which I don't see any of. You'll see the Ork players spamming banners everywhere. And as you build units, they'll kind of occupy this Ork resource. And you also have breakpoints where you need a certain amount of Ork cap to get. It's basically how they tech up kind of thing. It's a weird convoluted system. I think the idea behind it was the idea of the Orks becoming more powerful as there are more Orks on the field kind of thing. Here we see the big mech on the field. And Necrons, of course, who do not use requisition, which is why they don't have any up here. They just use power. You see Boogyman just spamming these power gens all over the place. They do have a use for the strategic points though. If they cap them and put an obelisk on top, it'll increase their caps and also gives them this time bonus where things get produced quicker. Looks like this is a take and hold game. If you capture and hold over 50% of the critical locations, so 2 out of the 3, you'll get this 7-minute timer for victory. Looks like we have one here in the south. There's one in the mid being taken. They take forever to capture these things, and they do provide requisition as well. And there's one up in the north being taken by the Chaos fellas, and there's a Chaos Lord. So let's get into what's actually happening. We've got a clash down here. Necron Warriors versus Slugger Boys. Necron Warriors are free to produce. So you'll often see a player just kind of spamming them, just putting them in auto build at the start. They are not free to reinforce though. They cost, is it 35 power? Yeah. Which is actually quite a lot, isn't it? They're pretty solid though. Good damage stats. They do move really slowly, but they do fire on the move relatively accurately, I think. Typically in this game, if you move, your accuracy goes down the toilet, and you basically want to avoid that at all costs, which helps make melee units useful, you know. Because even if you can't tie up the squad, as long as you make them move, you're reducing their damage significantly. Chaos Lord's getting shot at by a bunch of these Battle Sister squads. They're kind of middling stats, these, although they do have heavy infantry. Their trick comes in that they can purchase a whole bunch of flamers and break morale and win fights that way. They can also get heavy bolters, which are pretty handy, and of course they can get upgrades like most units can and get squad leaders that will help them out. Tearing through those cultists pretty easily. Cultists are so weak early on. I wonder if there's a way to make like a big cultist start viable. They just die so quickly. These fellas have an aspiring champion at least, although I've noticed that the upgrade, because there's upgrades you can get which give your aspiring champions different weapons, but it doesn't seem to apply to the aspiring champions that are in the cultists. I imagine by now that must be intended, but it does say on the tooltip affects all aspiring champions. It doesn't seem to affect the ones that are on the cultists for some reason. Chaos Lord is in amongst these Chaos Space Marines now. You'll often see commanders, especially later in the game, attached to squads to kind of protect them, because they will get destroyed otherwise. The big mech has really strong combat stats. You'll often see this guy attached to shooter boys, because he's got a personal teleporter that will affect the squad that he's in, so he can get shooter boys out of trouble and stuff with it. And he can get cool stuff later on, like disabling vehicles and things. Here's some Chaos Space Marines of GigaFraud. And we already have a couple of heavy bolters in. Very good against infantry. They can get plasma guns, but there was always a debate. I don't know if this has been cleared up and rebalanced since then, like 12 years ago or whenever it was. But a lot of people did not bother with plasma guns if they could get heavy bolters, because they do pretty... Even against heavy infantry, they do pretty similar damage. Heavy bolters have more range as well, although they need to be still. And they need to set up, but as I said, generally you want to be still to shoot anyway. So yeah, you'll see a lot of people forego the plasma guns if they can get heavy bolters, even if they're against heavy infantry like these battle sisters here. Canoness doing some range damage. She's a pretty solid all-round fighter, and of course has the faith-based abilities that we just saw go off there. Not sure which one that was. I think that was the one that... I'm not sure actually. Can I work it out? I do have a tablet beside me with some unit abilities up and stuff. I can maybe work out what that was. I think it was the Canoness. The Confessor and the Missionary also have abilities. That, oh, maybe that was Purifying Light. Blinding enemies, maybe. It seemed to affect the allies, though. These guys being tied up by the Canoness. And like all commanders, she can become more powerful. She's got a really strong faith ability later on called Ascension or something, that I remember calls in a bunch of like these angels that can't be damaged, and they do a bunch of damage to everything. They're really cool. Sisters of Battle here being broken momentarily. When your morale breaks, which is this blue number here,
5 minutes.
you move faster, so you can try to maybe use it to escape, but it dumps your accuracy way down, so you become super ineffective at shooting. I'm not sure what it does actually to melee attacks. Maybe someone can let me know. Does it affect your melee attack accuracy or something as well? Looks like we have the plasma gun upgrade for this aspiring champion here. Shooting down some Tau stuff. Storm Boys coming in though. That's a hell of a lot of Storm Boys. Looks like they're good against all infantry types. We get some nice tooltips here. Tells you what unit type it is. Storm Boys are heavy infantry apparently, and they're good against infantry and heavy infantry. There are multiple types of each though. I think there's like low, medium and high of each armor type or something like that. There's a lot of nuance. These guys having to back off because Storm Boys will rip them up. You can infiltrate Chaos Space Marines later on, which I always thought was interesting. The big mech would spot them though, if he's close enough. What is this? That's some Chaos Space Marines, and this turret is... Sometimes they get this bugged appearance where it looks like there's two of them on the same spot. There's a relic there. Turret for the Battle Sisters, which are Inferno turrets. Storm Boy still chasing these guys back. Don't know what this marker around the Chaos Space Marine is. I also don't know what these buttons at the bottom of the screen are. There's a play button and a stop button. I've pressed them many times, and they don't seem to do anything. Hey, we got the Necron Lord. This guy's awesome. Usually you'll see him pressuring quite hard early on. It's very different in a team game, though. I don't think you could be quite as aggressive with the early pressure in a team game, because you're going to get caught by other players and stuff. Got some Fire Warriors now, if I can select them. Us Pathfinders, sorry. Fire Warriors are here. Really good range damage, but they're terrible in melee, and they're really expensive to reinforce, aren't they? Yeah. Oh, they can't reinforce there. But I think they're like 70 to reinforce. These guys are full though, so it's not telling me the cost.
3 minutes.
Yeah, so unlike Dawn of War 2, I can't see all of the units and all of the resources at once, unfortunately. Kind of spoiled by that Dawn of War 2 replay system. Is kind of underrated, I think. So these heretics, the builder units for Chaos, you can tell them to force labor and like deal damage to them, and they'll build stuff faster, I think. We have some mega armored knobs here, which is very fun. Looks like they're good against all infantry and buildings. Huge damage numbers, over 4,000 hit points. And there's the big mech. Is it worth attaching the big mech to them? Can you even do that? So if you can teleport them around, that seems handy. Bit of a lull in the action here, which you often get in Dawn of War 1 as players build up their armies and get ready to push again. Build some nice tension though. Looks like this is 2v1 against these Sisters of Battle here. And that's a lot of fire warriors. That's a lot of firepower. Look at that. Oh, that veteran superior has like a melter pistol or something. Looks like the Canoness has one too. Those guys are being ripped apart. You can't stand here and fight. Yeah, I think that's the blinding thing again. The purifying light. Blinding these guys from the Canoness. Costing some amount of faith. The Necron's going to help. Oh, here's a pile of warriors. Yeah, and they fire good on the move, these guys. So even though they're super slow, they can maybe chase stuff and get some decent shots in. I think they get like 60% fire on the move accuracy, where ordinarily it's, I think, down to like 20% or even lower maybe. Is that possessed? No, that's Khorne Berserkers. Awesome. 2 squads of them. They should clean up these Orks pretty nicely, I think. Mech Boy's in there, though. Although he has very little hit points left. Here come the Mega Armored Knobs. Can they beat Mega Armored Knobs? They can't get... Yeah, you can't get a squad leader on the Khorne Berserkers. They're just too ballistic, I guess. More Storm Boys jumping in. Big old brouhaha. I can remove the UI as well. Look at that. If you can work out what's going on. Got better eyes than me, because you can't see the health of units in this game unless you mouse over them to see a general health bar, or actually select them to see the units of every model, which is kind of unfortunate. Can mean it's hard to tell what's going on in these big fights. More Orks piling in. Doesn't seem like it's kicking off in the south. Listening post getting some shots in. Looks like they dragged the Orks back to the listening post to get some damage in there. Don't know why they've built some power up here. Ordinarily you'd want that in your safe in your base, I think. Maybe your base isn't so safe in Dawn of War 1 though, because you can get deep striking and teleporting in there and stuff, so maybe spreading them out was better. Squad broken on these Chaos Space Marines. Moving nice and fast though, look at that. Can you attach... Oh yeah, I think you can attach the Chaos Lord to the Khorne Berserkers. It will slow them down, but it will give them other awesome bonuses, like morale bonuses and stuff. Some commandos also give you like straight up health regen and things like that. Here's this Chaos Sorcerer in there. Looks like he has been attached to the Khorne Berserkers actually. Can we figure out what he does? There's some nice tooltips in this game. Yeah, it says boost morale, detects infiltrated units, I think it said. It is kicking off in the south though. Let's have a look. Necrons moving up with a whole bunch of Battle Sister Friends. Looks like we have, yeah, look at this, 5 heavy bolters per squad. That's crazy. That's huge amounts of firepower. I'm not sure if, like... And there's a Confessor in there too. If all heavy bolters are the same, like are Battle Sister heavy bolters the same as Chaos Space Marine heavy bolters? Down goes the turret. Oh, we have a Predator tank. Look how small the vehicles are in this game. I'm not sure what that was. Some kind of... Oh, there's an Ethereal. I've got an Ethereal up, really. That buffs all of the Tower Infantry on the entire map, I believe. And it can do stuff like this, whatever the hell that is. Maybe I can work it out with my resources over here. Quite up in the north. Looks like the Chaos fellas won it with those Khorne Berserkers there. There's the Chaos Lord. Yeah, it says Primary Commander. I'm not sure what that means exactly, technically, because the big mech is not the primary commander, for example. I think the war boss is, but he comes out really late, the war boss. So late, in fact, that you typically want to, like, attach him to a squad immediately. Ideally a knob squad. Because the high-tier melee units can rip apart commanders pretty nicely. Oh, hey, we got a destroyer. This is the regular one, which is good against infantry. There's also a heavy destroyer, which I think is good against everything. And later on, there's like this destroyer lord guy, who's, I remember, is not very good in combat, but he can, like, take control of vehicles and stuff. He's like a utility unit. What does the Confessor do for you, then? Can we see before he dies? Immune to morale damage. Oh, he's died. Buffs their morale and stuff, I imagine. And I think he's got... I think he's the guy with big AoE damage stuff and things like that. Yeah, these tanks look absolutely tiny. Maybe is there a mod that just scales up the vehicles a bit? Got a bunch of war banners here. Damn mech shop. War tracks are fun. Killer cans are fun. No sign of them yet. And for those that don't know, you need to control these relics, or a relic, if you want to build your super unit. And if we look at the Battle Sisters listening points, we should see, yeah, these shiny ones here. That means they have a holy icon, which allows them to store more faith. I'm not sure how expensive those icons are, but we're not seeing a lot of them, so maybe they're quite expensive. There's another one here. Oh, you can get penitent engines out of this thing. Those guys are badass. I think they're one of the best walkers as well. Fire warriors with that range. Look at that range. Where's the Tau commander, by the way? Who are you guys? Fire warrior bodyguards. Oh, yeah, these guys are insanely good. You can get them once you have an ethereal, but you can only get one of them. I'm not sure where the Tau commander is. He must be on the field somewhere. Not easy for me to spot him. They don't have unique map markers or anything, the commanders. Oh, there he is. He's just he's very, very shooty. You get a bunch of weapon upgrades, which he has. And look at this. Kroot Hounds. Whoa. That's really good stats. Huge melee damage, huge hit points, huge morale. Did these guys beat Possessed Marines and stuff? That is insane stats. That means they've got the, here it is, the Kauyon command post, not the Montkar, I think the other one is, which means they can get a bunch of cool Kroot stuff. Like the Krootox and those Hounds. Those Hounds seem insanely good. I want to see them in action. Here's the Necron Lord. He can get a bunch of artifacts from this special building, which give him insane powers, like resurrection orbs and things. There's his teleport. Most of the Necron units can teleport back to base, by the way, which helps them if they're pushing deep into enemy territory with their really slow speed. Oh, hey, look at this. The Deceiver has arrived. Necron Lord turns into the Deceiver or the Nightbringer. And this guy, the Deceiver, does very little damage, as you can see, but he messes up morale hugely, and he can switch units to your side. I think it's temporarily. Generally, you'd go for this guy unless you want to counter something big and scary, then you'll go for the Nightbringer. And we got some Wraiths. Very quick melee guys. Not the best melee stat ever. Not a lot of hit points, but they are quick, and they have like built-in range damage resistance, I think, and you can upgrade that hugely. I think it starts at like 20%, but I think you can go up all the way up to 80%. Not easy for me to tell if they have that upgrade. They are moving really fast, so I think maybe they do, because it also improves their speed. And we have a restored monolith. Shooting the crud out of stuff. You basically get your monolith to take off and turn it into a big, scary, teleporting combat unit. All these guys get broken. Wraith is getting in there. It's a good to get a few Wraiths and send them into melee and like allow your Necron warriors to do damage. The Wraiths go down though. This thing probably has, yeah, 10,000 hit points and a restored monolith. Can they take it down there? They're doing some good damage. Oh, the Kroot Hounds are in there, but they've already broken. With the amount of morale they have, they've already broken. I think you need to get back to 100 morale, I think, to stop the broken state. Not sure exactly. Kicking off in the mid. Mega Armored Knobs being taken down by Mark of Khorne CSM. Or sorry, Khorne Berserkers in this game. Excuse me. That's the Doom Boltron of Sorcerer there. And a couple of tanks are in there too. You can get... Yeah, you can upgrade each side gun to a las cannon, and you can upgrade the main gun to a las cannon, giving you more anti-vehicle stuff. What's going on towards the south? The Greater Narlock is in. Now, with the right upgrades, which I imagine they have, I think it's called Metallurgy or something, the Narlock will beat any other unit in the game 1v1, even the Bloodthirst that it will take on. It's slow, and it doesn't have any splash damage, is the big downsides of it, but 1v1, it'll destroy anything. Can you get it into the 1v1 fights, though, given its slow speed, is the idea. This guy's teleporting away. Did it make it? I can't... I don't know where... There it is. That's another one, is it? This has got full hit points. Okay. What is this? Big mob of chaos fellas getting ready to go somewhere. So this northern area is still locked down by chaos. They have... Oh, this hasn't been capped. Only one of the critical locations is capped yet. As I said, it takes so long to cap them. Look at this. If you need to decap it first and then cap it, it's like a full minute, I think. It feels like it. That's so long. It is quite long to cap most things in this game. But the critical locations especially take a really long time. Looks like the fighting is died down for now. Got these Kroot Hounds. Oh, they have the Kroot Shaper in there. More speed, more health. That seems pretty nice. Yeah, these guys seem really strong. Big melee damage, over 6,000 hit points, 1,000 morale. I wonder if they can kill Possessed Marines 1v1. Do we see any of these guys? Possessed Marines? I don't see any yet. We do see some Raptors, and we see the infiltration research up on the Chaos Marines. Oh, here's a flying unit. Look at that. A Hell Talon, apparently. Good against big buildings and vehicles. You might see it raid the base, maybe. That's a big mob of Tau. A strong melee force supported by the Fire Warriors. What about down here? Oh, we got some Immortals. These are insanely effective anti-vehicle. That big damage number. They do not do well against infantry at all, though. Yeah, it says they're only effective against infantry in melee combat. I don't know if that's just because this weapon is really bad against infantry armor, or maybe they're super inaccurate against infantry armor. Got some destroyers. Fast-moving anti-infantry. Look at that damage number. That's pretty good. That's a DPS number, by the way, I believe. Taking into account accuracy and all sorts of things. So got some glowing battle sisters. No Repentures. No Repenture squads. No Penitent engines. All we've seen are battle sisters, I think, right? Not even any, like, Celestians and stuff. Oh, hey, Obliterators. Look how big they are. That's awesome. These guys, I think they're limited to one. Really slow. But they, like, automatically change their weapons based on what they're shooting at, which is pretty awesome. Massive mob of stuff in the mid. Tau and the Orks. There's the big mech, and there's the war boss. Look at him. Huge. Over 3,000 hit points, this guy. Awesome combat stats. He hasn't been attached to anything, though. Can you attach him to the Mega Armored Knobs? That seems fitting. We got some flash kits as well. Once the Orks get into their late tiers, because they have, like you need a certain amount of Ork cap to get knobs and stuff. But once they get into flash kits and things, I don't think that matters anymore. It's like once they're there, they're there. Because ordinarily you can destroy their banners, and it'll mess up the Orks quite a lot. You saw those Chaos Space Marines just appear there. That's because they were infiltrated, and because I am focusing on the Chaos, the fiery from the other team, I couldn't see him. Big push here. Some Scarab fellas. Oh, is that Celestians? Yeah, we got Celestians in because they can get a bunch of melter guns. You get melter guns and multi-melters. None are available. Looks like they've got a maximum of 2 here. There's probably upgrades to give them more special weapon slots. I think the multi-melters are more powerful, but you can't move. They need to be still to fire. Destroyers hitting base here with the Necron Lord. And we know he can turn into the Deceiver at least. Look at this big push through the mid, though, by the other team. So both teams are trying to hit the opposite base. They're not defending their own. The War Boss walks so funny. There's that Tau Commander. I get to see this guy in action finally. I'm sure he's done a bunch of stuff. I just missed it. Kroot Shaper in there with these hounds. We have a Barracuda from the Tau. Assault Fighter good against vehicles and aircraft, apparently. They're messing up the bases. You see these Tomb Spiders kind of asleep in the base here. That's because whenever you produce a Tomb Spider, you just bring one back to life, wherever it is. So it starts you off with 3 of them in your base. Here's the Krootoxes. Almost 9,000 hit points on these guys. They're awesome tanks. Really good combat stats too. And you need to get that special building to get these guys. If they got the other building, they'd be able to get like broadside suits and things. Here's the other team with a Squigoth. Going down, okay. Oh, we got Penitent Engines in there. Look at that. And a Living Saint. This is the super unit for the Sisters of Battle. The Penitent Engines are awesome. And they're so much larger than the Dreadnoughts. It's weird. The Space Marine vehicles especially look so small on the map. But the Rhino is tiny. It's really weird. If they were scaled up to like Penitent Engine size, that would be awesome. But yeah, really powerful walkers. Good melee stats with almost 7,000 hit points. I think Killer Cans have even more melee damage than this, like 600-700, but they don't have as much hit points, I think. Making short work of this base. What's going on down here? Looks like GigaFraud has been destroyed or quit or something. I think these guys are getting it done a lot quicker. A lot quicker.
Even a warped mind can see the odds stacked against it.
Who cares about taking hold when he can destroy everything? Got las cannon tanks in here. A bunch of slugger boys smacking on them, but they're not doing much damage to the vehicles over there. They have pushed in to the Necron base, look. Mega armored knobs. Oh, they are limited to 4, yeah. Big mechs in there, war bosses in there. Greater summoning cores in there. No flayed ones. Didn't see any flayed ones. Oh, here. Possessed Space Marines. Here they are. Let me see their stats. Yeah, they have less melee stats than the Hounds. And less hit points. But they do have that. I think you can upgrade them with like a fire breath. Yeah, they're doing it, look. It's not shown in the damage number, but they do have a ranged attack. They got messed up by the Orks, though. I mean, flash kits are super effective. Look at the damage number. But I wonder, because it says the possessed Space Marines in their tooltip is like the ultimate melee unit. But those Kroot Hounds seemed pretty tasty. I want to see them have a fight. No heavy destroyers, eh? Just regular destroyers. Orcs going to be destroyed pretty soon. And that's the last player. They still have units, though.
The true power is here.
Hitting over here, too. These Orcs are taking their time finishing this base off, aren't they? What's going on? Can look at the economies here. Almost maxed out the Faith Bar did Ben. These guys are gone. This is the Tau economy. Almost dead, as you can see, in terms of income. Orcs also, but massively over their Orc cap. Which is different from squad cap because it counts each individual Orc unit rather than the squad itself. And I think even their commanders take Orc cap. I think. But Gretchens don't. Those guys made short work of them. You get negative cover in this water, by the way. You might see some craters for positive cover as well. Trying to build another settlement. The Orc that tried. These guys are still not dealing with these Necrons. Okay, the Orc is gone. I think he left. Okay, he's gone. Oh, there's a Defiler in there. So Team 1 in the West are going to win this game. They just need to kill the other stuff. The Tau play is still going here, look. Makes a headquarters in the mid. And here's the Tau stuff. With that big old Krutox and the Greater Narlock. I guess he's not that slow. He's like slower than the Bloodthirster and stuff. And maybe the Avatar. Okay, they've got the critical locations, so we have the 7-minute countdown now. Yeah, I imagine these fire-based listening posts aren't going to do much to the vehicles. The Tau commander can jump around as well. He's really, really annoying early on because he's got super long range, good damage, and he can jump away. Didn't get to see that much in this game because, again, a 3v3, I think it's harder to harass. Maybe if you can really commit to it, though, you can do it. Trying to take out this new Ecclesiarchal Chapel. They're going to take out this little sub-base, but soon a big mob of stuff is going to show up, including a living saint. Can we follow you? Unstoppable juggernaut of holy wrath. A variety of powerful abilities. Can use her wings to vault over stuff, and she is faithful as well, generates faith. Not sure what her abilities are, but I'm sure they're awesome. Did not get to see the Avenging Angels from the Canoness, at least I didn't notice them. Oh, there's some more possessed Space Marines, look. I don't think these guys... Yeah, they can't get a squad leader. 65 rec, 30 power to reinforce. That is insanely expensive. Another Tau base trying to be built. It's not going to work out for you. The tiny Chaos Predator here. Why are the tanks so small? It's like, yeah, the Penitent engines have good scaling, but other things, it's all over the place, really. Oh, we did see a Sister Repentia squad at the end. What are their stats? Just over 100 max damage. Good amount of hit points, and of course you can attach... Oh, they got a squad leader as well. A Mistress. You can probably attach the Confessor or the Canoness to them as well. Well, there you have it. You have been annihilated, it says. Whoever's viewpoint I take, it says that. Well, there you have it, guys. Some Dawn of War action in the definitive edition. I'll try to get some more replays and cover some more games and learn more about the game as well. If you can help me out in the comments, things I may have missed, I'd appreciate it. Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see ya next time.